Good evening, San Andreas. My name is Sophie Whitaker, filling in for Odin Rivera, and this is Weasel News. This Friday, the Los Santos Police Department held a press conference for all of the public to attend. This is a part of their new initiative to focus on repairing and improving public relations. The LSPD hopes to host these press conferences once a month, alternating days so that as many people can attend them as possible. We at Weasel want this information available to everyone who cannot attend as much as possible, so we will be releasing the footage as unedited as possible as soon as we can after every press conference. Now, we will take you to Davis PD earlier this week to hear what the Los Santos Police Department and the public had to say.
Today represents a new chapter for the Los Santos Police Department as we take bold steps forward under the leadership of Casey Doolittle and Assistant Chief Clifford Reeves. Before I continue here at this moment, I'd like to introduce you to our new leadership, the Los Santos Police Department. It's my absolute honor to introduce to you Chief Casey Doolittle and Assistant Chief Clifford Reeves. Thank you. Thank you, truly. All right. Beginning on here on this wonderful afternoon. Today is May 2nd, 1998, approximately 6:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our department is proud to announce a new community initiative designed to strengthen the trust between law enforcement and the citizens of Los Santos. This initiative and this press conference will strictly reflect our renewed commitment to partnership, working side by side with residents, local leaders, organizations, and businesses. Under the new leadership, Chief Doolittle and Assistant Chief Reeves bring with them not only years of experience, but a clear dedication to building a department that listens, evolves, and leads with integrity. You understand that public safety cannot be achieved by law enforcement alone. It must be built through dialogue, mutual respect, and consistent action. This program will focus on community outreach, business engagement, and neighborhood presence, and most importantly, accessible communication with the people we serve, being yourselves, the citizens and states of San Andreas. I'm going to begin speaking on LSPD-oriented events. It is our goal at the Public Relations Department to begin LSPD-oriented events, and primarily sponsoring events throughout the city. Our goal is to show the people throughout the city of Los Santos that we aren't some officers with some vendetta of hate or disrespect. We want to make sure that everybody here is heard with their voices and assisted hand by hand by the Los Santos Police Department. Carrying forward on, the LSPD will be sponsoring a large sum of events hosted strictly throughout the city. No worries, miss, no worries.
Thank you.
Involving increasing cash prizes, assisting with giveaways like vehicles, and many more. Our goal is to continue to build a relationship that we have with the citizens of Los Santos. To do that is to work together closely with those with businesses, events, or other many more. Another goal in the LSPD is providing clear communication with everything revolved around internal affairs, cases, criminal cases, and many more. It is your goal as a citizen in Los Santos to be sure that you know exactly what is happening on these streets. We're not going to allow you folks to go to bed at night wondering what danger you may be placed in. We are going to make each and every one of you aware of what goes on through these streets of Los Santos and how us, the Los Santos Police Department, takes initiative to protect you. I'm going to hand this on over to Chief Casey Doolittle. He's going to be going over some key, important parts of the field training and many more.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Yeah. How y'all doing? My name is Casey Rutherford Doolittle, and most of you already know who I am, but for those that don't, I used to be the sheriff of Blaine County. You have to forgive me today, I'm a little under the weather. You know, it's a big allergy season, but we're going to try to get through this, all right?
Just sit there.
So let me just extend my thanks again to Lieutenant Collymore for putting this fine press conference together. He really jumped on the ball. He's been doing this department proud in his new capacity. I'd also like to take a moment to thank old Clifford here, this gentleman with the fine black mustache here. He's been a longtime friend, former undersheriff of Blaine County. Couldn't do this without him. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to the mayor, Captain Miami here, as well as the officers of the LSPD for working with us, making us feel that Los Santos welcome. Now, any of y'all in the audience who know me know I don't like prepping comments for this kind of baloney. So I'm going to go a bit off the cuff here, and I do got a few things I want to talk about. First things first, if any of y'all got issues, most of you know that I keep my door open and I keep my phone on me. But that being said, I do go meeting after meeting, so it ain't always easy to get me these days. But if you do have a suggestion, concern, complaint, give me a holler at my personal email. Or excuse me, my chief email. It's going to be chief@lspd.gov. I have access to it. The assistant chief has access to it. The mayor has access to it. We'll see it. We'll be the only ones who see it. There's also proper channels to go through. You can talk to the sergeant at the LSPD. We're going to be establishing an internal affairs department, which I'm going to be going into very shortly. And I know there's many fine officers here, fine supervisors that'd be happy to take your complaints. But if you want to reach us directly, it's going to be chief@lspd.gov. Right now, we only have one email in there. And if you want change that. We can't know everything, so if something's wrong, make it known to us. First things first we're going to talk about is some of the procedures we've been changed up. One of the first ones we did was come and change some of the training procedures for the LSPD. That was a day one thing. We moved from an academy model to a hybrid ride-along classroom-based system similar to the BCSO. And the goal here is to give FTOs flexibility to impart core principles we believe are essential to successful policing and enable cadets to have a more practical, less theoretical introduction to their career. So far, we are seeing promising results from it. It's too early to see the long-term effects, but this new system has enabled us to take in a record number of cadets and get through a backlog, which we are hopeful will lead to a much-needed bolstering to our numbers. Next thing's next. It hasn't been implemented yet, but we are going to be opening up internal affairs department, as I mentioned. And one of the next steps to address complaints both internally and externally is through this bureau. We learned that this structure has existed for quite a while. It was pioneered by Chief Stanfield, so credit to him. But it was a bit more of an informal and secretive affair. And we do understand the strategic reasons for this, because this allows IA agents to act more decisively and without potential obstruction. But we believe it is critical to the public trust to bring this new system to the forefront. As we speak, we are implementing a joint system with the Commissioner's Office that will allow us to have outside review, and investigations will be conducted by special investigators to avoid conflicts of interest and ensure the most impartiality to the findings. And this will be implemented sometime this weekend or sometime next week. Yeah. Let's move on to the fun bit. As y'all can see here, we've opened Davis here for business. We were able to get the wiring worked out and some of the locks slapped on the doors. Credit to Lieutenant Blakely McKenna for that. She's done excellent work. She's done some fine work with our contractors, and they were very well compensated. This isn't the only station we've reopened, however. La Mesa is also open for business as well. To clarify, this will be the utility for each base. Rockford will continue to be open as our central administrative hub, a place for our command operations, and a place for our training operations. Davis here will be hosting our forward operations under the oversight of Captain Miami here. And La Mesa will be the home of our detective bureau. Last but not least, Lieutenant Smith, could you come up here, please? I want to directly address some of the work that the Detective Bureau has been doing at La Mesa lately, for many months after that, because they cracked themselves a big case, and I want to bring some attention to it. On Sunday earlier this week, two paramedics were taken hostage by an unknown individual, which led to a joint operation between the LSPD, the BCSO, and the SAHP under the command of David Smith here for their safe return of these individuals. Both of them were able to be recovered, though badly wounded, and we captured and identified the individual in question. Now, everybody gets their day in court, and to be frank, I don't want to give a name to this evil, because evil yearns to be recognized. The relevant information will be released as the court proceedings kick off. The depositions were made public. But what I want to do right now is I want to take the time here today to send out my prayers to Artemis Devine and Ash Prescott, because Lord knows they are doing God's work out there. It is a terrible tragedy that they ever had to go through this. And I also want to recognize Detective Lincoln Miami, who unfortunately could not be here, and Detective David Smith here. We have cause to believe similar incidents like this have allegedly occurred for quite some time, and these two have been working diligently to bring an end to it, and they are the reason that it was put to a stop. So I'm going to give the floor to Lieutenant Smith here. Would you like to make any comments? Very good.
Alrighty, as you guys are aware, I am Lieutenant David Smith. I have been with the DU for a few months now. Just kind of want to give a little bit brief overview on what the chief touched about. We are expecting to heavily pick up on DU work and operations likewise. Like he's been touching on, we've had a somewhat escalation of rather serious events. We had the 2 EMS employees taken hostage by this individual. Who I will not name because that is what he is looking for identification-wise. We've had a number of other cases kick off in the meantime. So I really just want to make it clear that, the DU, even though you guys may not see us out, a whole lot, just know that there is a lot going on behind the scenes. The DU is not so much patrol-based. Once you make it into this unit, it is very paperwork heavy. So there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes. Even though you may not see us, there is still a lot of information being processed. So like I said, we have a few cases going on now. We have very good leads going on with these cases, and we expect to have them resolved here within probably the next week or so. That being said, we do have some new and upcoming plans and changes. We are looking to expand our numbers a little bit, maybe get some more detectives on board, maybe explain, what we look into, how we can help the public and assist patrol in their daily operations. Like I said, or like Chief said, we are out of La Mesa. So should you guys have any questions, concerns, you guys always swing by, talk to a detective, maybe let us know about something that you see that's concerning in your neighborhood or maybe around the city, at your work, etc. But like I said, we're always open for business. We're always able to help out. So should you guys ever need anything, just always swing by, let us know, and we'll help you the best we can.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Very fine words, very informative. All right. Anything beyond that? Assistant Chief, do you got anything you want to say? Captain Miami? All right. I'm going to pass this over to Lieutenant Collymore. He's going to wrap us up, then we will open the floor for any questions or concerns that y'all might have, y'all might want to bring to the forefront, or just tell us we're doing a good job. It's up to you. Collymore, take over.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chief Doolittle. Thank you, Lieutenant Smith. I want to thank the time for each and every one of you for coming out here today. It's my first time here in the position of the public relations of the press secretary role. And to see you folks turn out to be able to build a relationship with the LSPD and truly be devoted to hearing what our goals are makes me very proud. Just know that I see a lot of faces in here that I know of. Citizens alleged, I know most of you folks like that word, criminals in this room. But just know each and every one of you are human. There is no grudge, there is no vendetta on the side of the LSPD. We understand that some of you guys may be caught up on the wrong side of the law, and sometimes you're damned out of luck, and that's okay. Just know that there's always an opportunity in life to change. Whether you like it or not, that's perfectly okay. But it's our goal to continue to make these city streets safe, filled with the respect from our side to yours. Some days you may be having a bad day, and that's okay, and we get it. We may be a little upset that you turn your life to crime or rob a bank or a store, but it's our goal to work hand to hand, continue to clean these streets up. We appreciate your guys' time, and just do know the LSPD's goal is to make sure each and every one of you guys here are heard, respected, and honored as a citizen, as if within your rights. Now, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to allow the floor to be open to any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints. But before doing so, we want to make sure that nobody here is being disrespectful, talking over others, or arguing. If you do have a question, please do raise your hand and it will be answered by Chief Doolittle or Assistant Chief Clifford Reeves. The floor is now open for questions. Feel free to do ask. Please feel free. Peter Green.
Hi, Peter Green, Meteor News. Both press and I'm sure many folks in this room in the past have heard PD speak on, wanting to have transparency and wanting to make sure that people are in the loop, but have frequently been met with what's the word? Under investigation. Or open investigation, sorry. What would you, as a department, say the best way to follow up on information or, regarding to open investigations is?
Open investigations regarding officer suspensions, reprimandations.
Really just anything. I've seen plenty of scenarios where people had bumped into, or members of news teams have come up and wanted to know about something that was happening. Whether it be just store robbery or just general activity in general.
Right.
And they've frequently been met with, it's an open investigation. We can't talk on it. When would you say is it appropriate for people to follow up or to reach out, and what route should they take to get that information that they're seeking?
Wonderful. I do respect that question, Mr. Green.
I got something to say to that. How you doing, sir? Clifford Les Reeves. So, in the past, as it's pretty obvious, I actually speak louder than the words. It's been quite difficult for LSPD to get in contact with the media and disclose that information. But as I spoke to several media outlets, and I do value the work you do, because every citizen in this God great country has a right to know as to the people that took an oath to protect their civil liberties and whatnot. So myself personally, being involved with the Internal Affairs Department, with the Commissioner's Office, and the Chief and myself took it upon ourselves to appoint Colin Moore as head of the Public Relations Department. It would solely be up to his department to get in contact with any media outlets and disclose information that he's willing to disclose. Before that, we didn't have such department or division available or accessible, so which is why you got answered the way you did. But much like what Casey and I told the Commissioner's Office during our interview, transparency is everything. The people's trust is something that's very, very important to us, and it's something that drove us when we served in the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. I digress. It's a very small county up there. A lot of less folk up there. A lot of people know each other, but that practice there is something that we do want to achieve down here in the big city. So when it comes to disclosing investigations of that nature, it would ultimately be up to Colin Moore here to get in contact with you. And if he doesn't, well, we'll take care of that.
And I'll add on to that a little bit. You may not get your answer right away, but Collymore will be working diligently on it because he has to get in contact with the investigator because there's a lot of things that have to be balanced when we distribute that information. Transparency is at the top of our agenda. But when we release that information, we have to consider the safety of individuals, including witnesses, including the officers, hell, including the suspects themselves. We have to think about the rule of law, how things are conducted in the courtroom to ensure that the information as released does not create a prejudicial environment in which justice cannot be adequately served. There is a lot of things to balance in that regard. But transparency is number one on our agenda, and we are committed to making sure that the public is updated on things that are of the public interest toward the public safety. So you're going to get that information as soon as we're able to get it to you.
Yeah, and I did want to add my portion just to wrap it up. My goal is to be very, very well in hand with the media sources, both Weasel News and LS Media. You guys have every right to know what is going on in these streets as publishers. Obviously, like Chief and Assistant Chief have mentioned, the legalities between it to make sure we're not publicly distributing any information that is to be kept within our own inner circle of the Detective Bureau and other things. I'd be more than welcome to allow you guys to contact me and reach out any questions you have on regarding cases, warrants, seizures, etc. And I'll do my best to give you as much as I possibly can to allow you folks to use it in media sources, newspapers, or even broadcast. I feel like we should not be hiding things from you. We should allow you guys to distribute these sources throughout the city, to allow citizens here to also be well aware of what is going on behind the scenes at the LSPD. So you're more than welcome to get into contact with me at any time, email and or phone. And I'll be more than welcome and more than obliged to work with you folks, and that goes for Weasel News as well. Any other more questions, Mr. Green?
I do have a little bit of a follow-up to that. Obviously, a lot of the people here are not media, and they are frequently, in situations where friends of theirs are, injured or may have even been arrested. What would you say for just general people would be the best route for them to follow up on a situation that they are interested in, I suppose?
Of course. When it comes to the worry of somebody else regarding an arrest, obviously suspect liability and respect, we don't want to be airing out dirty laundry when somebody gets arrested. Our goal is to respect their privacy. If they're more than welcome to publicly display their arrest charges, whatever may be happening to them. Now, when it comes around an injury, everybody here has every right to understand a family member, brother, sister, or friend of how they were injured or what caused an injury. Strictly when it comes to detainment of custody for an individual, we try our best not to display any form of information unless you aren't either next of kin or emergency contact of some sort. Privacy kept safe, mainly. Anything else, Mr. Green?
That'll do for me.
Beautiful. Miss Carter of Weasel News, I know you raised your hand in the back there.
I did. Thank you.
Of course.
I have a question for the department, kind of turning the conversation in a different direction.
No worries.
Last night, I witnessed a bank robbery, and I also saw an LSPD helicopter land on a sculpture in the middle of Legion Square. So my question is, can the department explain the decision to land a helicopter in a public park when there were civilians nearby?
Understandable. I'll don't have much to say because I wasn't there, but at the end of the day, I don't think something like that should be done. I don't think landing a helicopter in a publicly accessible area, causing possible safety concerns for the public peace, is a right way to go. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, use of resources when it comes to using a helicopter, landing it on a building on top of a helipad of some sort is a little bit more justifiable. But if it was publicly landed in the Legion Square, on the floor or on the ground, that is a safety concern. And what I would suggest for anybody in a situation like this is to immediately contact a supervisor or member of command with the Los Angeles Police Department, and if eligible and able to do so, obtain the officer information, badge number, and name, who may have operated that aircraft. But just do know, here at the LSPD, we are specifically and specially trained of how to operate a helicopter compared to an avid flyer. We work hand in hand with the flat scoop, and they teach us safety tips and tricks on how to adapt to certain situations when it comes to operating a helicopter to make sure we're safe and the public is safe as well. But landing in public areas is the last thing we want to do. It is definitely a safety concern. And Miss Carter, I'm deeply sorry and apologetic on the behalf of the LSPD that you had to witness something like that.
Thank you.
Of course. Anybody else that would be more than welcome to answer or ask any questions? Yes, sir, to the left.
Yeah, bro. A question on this public safety thing. You know,
course.
let's say you guys are rolling up on, you know, a shooting happens, right? And you guys approach, and there's a dude, you know, bleeding out on the road. But then you see a car speeding away, and then this cop, like, he drives off. He starts chasing this guy, but then this guy's over here bleeding out and shit. What's your policy on this, man? You guys just leaving people on the ground or what?
No, sir. So, as a field training officer, executive commander, we are set by 5 levels of safety. Priority number 1, officer safety. Priority number 2, hostage, victim, or suspect safety. Number 3 and 4 and 5 will go from there. Prioritize down to the visual, but we also want to rain justice to those who have committed this crime. At no time and point will we allow any form of gun distribution, people being shot on the streets. Our goal is to apprehend these suspects, get them in police custody immediately. We do definitely prioritize those who are affected or downed and or victim. And I do apologize if you may have ever been in a situation like this or witnessed something like this, but I can safely assure you, we do prioritize the injured.
And if we see the violation of this, do we need to report this or what?
Any violation, any officer, no matter who it may be, lieutenant, captain, sergeant, chief, assistant chief, and you witness something that is violating the Constitution, unbecoming of an officer, or anything regarding our standard operating procedure, no officer here is above the law. That is an absolute proven fact. And if you witness something like this, and that goes for anybody in this room, contact supervisor immediately, commissioner's office as well, or Department of Justice.
Well, just to add on to that, as he's mentioned, all the appropriate authorities, this email that the chief has made is that way you all have a point of contact to the direct command of said officers if you see something questionable. All we do ask, we're not asking to, sign your name on it or anything like that. We just want the name of the officer involved and a brief summary as to what happened. And you have my word that we will look into that. We made this because I believe it was around Dick Thompson. He did make a form, and I'm not sure what really entailed in that, but we decided to go for a more simplistic approach, as I know a lot of people are willing to make these reports, but are not willing to put in their own name and things of that nature. But we don't really think that's really too much important. We just want to deal with problems if there is problems. That way they could get situated as humanly possible.
And I'll add on top of that, the more information you put in, the more it gives us to work with up there. If it's just one sentence long, that's not something we can deal with. That just ends up being a he said, she said situation. But we need details. We need clarification. We need to know where to look. So like Clifford said, you don't got to sign your name, but we want to know exactly what happened, 4 for 4. And yeah, my word, we will look into it.
And my final question on this, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, feel free.
What's your guys' policy on the, allegedly, maybe people on this stage? I don't know, just saying, I don't care. But what's the policy on the interdepartment relationships and them working cases together where, it could be a conflict of interest? You guys dating each other, this and that?
Are you talking about like interdepartment relationships between officers?
I'm gonna step in on this. Our department, as y'all know, as I mentioned earlier, I was the sheriff of Blaine County, and we firmly believe that interdepartmental relations are very important to maintain, especially when it comes to investigations like that. There is no such thing as a conflict of interest across jurisdictional lines because crime does not know jurisdictional boundaries. And it is critical for us. And in fact, I think in some cases, it's a little more dubious in San Andreas, but usually across jurisdictions, it actually requires us to work together when it comes to these cross-jurisdictional lines. So we put a high emphasis on interdepartmental cooperation, And I'm proud to say we maintain a strong relationship with the BCSO and the SAHP.
Okay.
Did we answer your question
Not
correctly?
not really, not really. But
Oh,
maybe it's a different conversation for another time.
are you talking about like
Yes.
love, like boyfriend,
I'm literally
girlfriend?
talking about sexual relationships, bro.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
PD gotta
Well,
keep the bloodline pure.
everybody has their own right to love, and I feel like that shouldn't be a boundary because of the job that they have uptaken. When it comes to conflict of interest, I don't think there's really any conflict of interest within the relationship bounds of things. And I know Jackie Miami and Lincoln Miami can speak on the behalf of these. They work very well together with one another, and they always make sure they separate their love when it comes to their work, and they go and continuous goals and achieving them. And then they never let their relationship step in between the workforce, and they balance it out very well. Same thing goes for other relationships that I've witnessed hand-on within this department. As somebody who sits here as a single male, and I observe many relationships, I feel like my speak on that is pretty strong. Does that hopefully answer your question, sir?
What about public affection between two officers in the jail cells? What about this?
I mean, there's a point in time where public affection's okay, but on the job and in the uniform, I say we keep that for later on. When you're at home,
You may be
you're off
wanting to
duty.
have some conversations with your police officers, bro.
But
Just
hang
saying.
on a second. Do you have a specific incident you want to tell us about?
No, I'm not putting anybody on blast. I'm just saying, maybe allegedly, there was some things I may have witnessed in these sales and this whatnot, and
Okay.
I'm just saying maybe that's not something you want to be doing, when you're trying to take care of business,
Understandably right. And if you do ever want to speak to us after this meeting, you're more than welcome to wait outside and we'll approach you. If not, that's completely understandable. You have every right to remain anonymous and or remain from any public mention of names. But thanks for bringing this to our attention. I do deeply appreciate it. God bless America. All right, anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints they'd like to address here today? Nobody else?
My hand not fucking up. What the hell?
No, you're like poking down. Sorry about that, Cecil.
Okay,
Keep
that's
poking
weird.
me.
Yeah.
Well, my
get a
bad.
big poker. All right.
So, in terms of like the new training you've got going on, hypothetically, were I to state that I have personally witnessed cadets treating other cadets as dogs, presumably part of their training, is that now part of the fucking how PD does training?
No. I can stand on 10 toes as the executive commander for field training. Treating them like dogs themselves is nowhere near or a part of anything that has to do with the new implementation of our onboarding process for cadets. If you do see this, it's completely unnecessary on behavior, and please do let me know immediately.
They're very insistent about it.
Yeah, I don't know who was doing that, but my phone number is 508-2532. I figured I'd just shut that out there on, any phone number, please, feel free. Don't call me to order a pizza like some other guy did this morning. But does that answer your question, Cecil? All right. Anybody else before we wrap it up with some final mentions? This is your opportunity right now to hear it from the voice of the voiceless.
Anything at all. No question too dumb.
Yeah,
except if it's
actually, I do have a
fuck
genuine
around
question.
anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may have missed it earlier. You said that Davis PD is back and open again, but you said it had a certain purpose now. What was that again?
Yeah, so the specific purpose of the Davis Police Department is the patrol operations and public release, or press, whatever you want to call it. Myself and Miss Jackie Miami over here to my left are responsible for our operations throughout here. She's the commanding officer of this department, so she'll be responsible for all the patrol operations, basically assigning officers, patrol fleets, and stuff like that. And I'll be working out of here for press conferences like this, which, mind you, will be hosted once every month. So this is not a one-time thing. It will be my goal as long as I am here to work with the citizens and have press conferences once a month. And then La Mesa is strictly the Detective Bureau, cases, etc. And then Rockford Hills Police Department is our main operation course for training and basically just about everything else that was previously used before.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know.
Of course, happy to answer. Any other questions? Yes, Miss Carter.
Madison Carter, Weasel News again. My question is for everyone. When they need police and they go to the front desk, is there a specific department they should go to now?
No, I think every department is in use, which will have officer presence at mostly every department. Put in a 311 call just requesting for service, and an officer will try to respond as quickly and swiftly as possible, depending on their availability. I don't think we're going to restrict certain calls or certain assistance that is required from the citizens of Los Santos. So, yeah, you're more than welcome to come to just about any department that is operating throughout the city, and we will be there for service.
I will clarify as well, we did recently hire a front desk attendant who will be there to assist y'all if y'all have any, if y'all have any specific concerns on want to make reports or anything, we're going to try to have someone at that front desk. Now, y'all know by now, that's not always possible. We're going to do that to the best we can.
And Coulter Wise the
Coulter
desk,
Y.
yeah,
God bless.
desk officer. God bless. All right. If anybody else doesn't have any questions, we'll begin wrapping this up here tonight. Anybody?
Last
Anything that might
chance.
come up on your mind? You got all the questions in the world to ask. Going
Well,
once,
let's start wrapping up.
going twice. Sold. All right. Well, from the bottom of my heart, I do deeply want to thank each and every one of you who came here today to listen to us speak. Get the truth of the LSPD. Inform you guys of all things important and begin to build the trust between us and the citizens. No matter if you're in the county, up in Polito, or down to the city. It is our goal to make sure everybody here in the city feels comfortable to approach an LSPD officer, have questions answered, and make sure you guys are not in any way, shape, or form agitated against us or any possible grudges or animosity. Just do know that press conferences like these will be hosted once every month, possibly on Fridays. That is our initial goal. Maybe down in the future, we'll start pushing different dates around different days to allow those who are unfortunate enough to not be able to attend today. I do also want to deeply thank the media team here, Weasel News and the LS Media, coming down here, sole proprietors of all your daily news and informations. I do also want to thank those who stand in this room today, the citizens and alleged criminals here today. You guys are what keeps us on our feet. We couldn't thank for it anymore. It doesn't mean keep doing crime, though. I think I'm starting to go bald. I really think I'm starting to go bald. But anyways, thank you all. Each and every one of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please do stay safe. And that's just about all from me. Chief Doolittle, Assistant Chief Reeves, do you folks have anything you'd like to provide to these wonderful citizens here today?
No, we said everything we need to say. Go ahead and
God
send them on.
bless America.
Have a good rest of your day. God bless y'all.
That's good.
Thank you for tuning into this special broadcast and letting Weasel be your choice of news. This has been Sophia, and good night.